Good morning, and baby, it's cold outside. Here are our headlines. National Telethon update. List of non-reporters as of 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time today. Whatever you do, don't freeze your calls off. 5 ways to overcome cold call reluctance. Celine, the selling machine. And the power and value of basic training. Let's get into this. First of all, the National Telethon update. We need just 8 more centers to report so we can break that 60 center reporting threshold. Attached on a success that has followed YouTube is a list of the centers, but I'm going to read them off here in just a moment. These are the folks for whom we have not yet received a report. Now, I'm a softie, and I love giving money away, so I'm going to extend the deadline one last time, and I mean it this time. This is it. Today at 5 o'clock, got to have it in. And for those of you that have volunteered to call some of these centers, go ahead. Give them a buzz, shake them down, irritate them, harass them, harangue them, do whatever you have to do. I'm calling them myself right after I post this on YouTube. But we've got till 5 o'clock today to get those reports in. And again, I'll make one more last call and you can start making calls to them. Here they are. Fairview Park, Columbia Northeast, Fairview Park, Cuyahoga Falls, Miami, that would be Oscar Balbuena's Miami, Florence, Lakewood, Baltimore, Dr. Terry Baker's Baltimore, Dallas, Orangeburg, White Marsh, Wilkes-Barre, Medina, Amherst, Manassas, Chesapeake, Gainesville, Delray Beach, Opelika, West Allis, Shreveport, Streetsboro, Plant City, Naples, Miami, and that would be Dr. Armas's Miami, and Findlay, Ohio. We have not gotten reports from any of those centers. Now, if you send them in, if I just listed your center off, if you send it in, I'll send an email out to everybody letting them know that you have reported. But in the meantime, we need 60 centers and 1,000 appointments. The way it's tracking right now, it looks like we could very well hit our 1,000 appointments, but we need actually probably closer to 65 centers to report. Don't freeze your calls off. Every single one of our centers is in the path of a winter storm that will affect every single center in our network. It already started to affect the Nebraska centers yesterday. From Onalaska to Miami and everywhere in between, it's going to be cold, cold, cold for the next 3 to 4 days. That means now is the time to be making cold calls, but before we get to that, care calls, restart calls, new client calls, and of course, cold calls. No pun intended. Well, maybe. With the weather at its worst, you already know people will be at home stuffing their collective faces during the cold snap, which means you need to download your cold call list from Sales Genie and start cranking the cold call machine in your center. I have some tips that I want to give you. 5 ways to overcome cold call reluctance, and this was already faxed and emailed to everybody as well. Here's some good reasons why ramping up cold calling efforts now can get your salespeople in front of more prospects. Many salespeople, and this has to do with recession-oriented cold calling, but slug-in bad weather cold calling as well. Many salespeople deal with the recession by making fewer calls. One study showed salespeople reduced their cold calling efforts by 38% during tough times. That means the competition's making fewer calls. It's no longer business as usual for most customers. Customers are under pressure from management to find more value for their purchasing dollars. More prospects, especially those who've always claimed to be satisfied with their present suppliers, are now looking for new suppliers. Just translate that into weight loss. That someone who was happy with the way they were trying to lose weight before are not happy with it now. They're looking for alternatives. Attitude is key, and these are the most important parts. Salespeople who excel have the determination, perseverance, enthusiasm, and positive attitudes that are the backbone of cold calling. One sales study found that optimistic salespeople sold 37% more products and services on average during cold calls than negative attitude salespeople. Here are the 5 cold calling tips from sales consultant Ted Barrows we're sharing with your sales staff. And if you're the sales staff, worth watching and reading yourself. View success in the long term and failure in the short term. You're working diligently to stay afloat during a tough economy or cold weather snap, and that's your long-term goal. But there will be failures along the way, and it's important to remember those failures are always short-term. Reframe what you hear and see. Perception is how you choose to interpret events. If prospects tell you they're happy with their own weight loss program, do you place them in the do not call category? Or do you accept the statement as a challenge and vow to resume your efforts to show why they should do business with you? That means overcoming their objection or using the 1 to 31 January through December tickler file. Remain focused. You may not be able to control the feelings and statements prospects make to you during a cold call, but you can control your reaction to them. You may not be able to control the outcome of your presentations, but you can control your input. Practice positive mental thinking. Does it really help you to obsess over negative news about cold weather or the economy? No. Or is it better to stay positive and go out and increase your cold calling efforts? If a prospect seems unreceptive or even antagonistic, try to find out why. Maybe you made your call at the wrong time. The prospect is too busy to talk at that point. Try calling back at a time when the prospect might not have as much to do. I'll tell you, it's all about energy, enthusiasm, electricity, which brings me to Celine, the selling machine in Lincoln, Nebraska. I want to talk a little bit about the success that the new Lincoln, Nebraska franchisee Rick Anderson is having with not only his whole center, but and I'm going to isolate one employee in particular because Celine went through 5-day basic with a full class of people, and they've all been asking about her, and she is the prototypical, at least at this stage, prototypical employee that is setting up to be one of a top producing salesperson. And why? First of all and foremost, Rick followed the recruiting guide. I'm going to say if I were to score Celine on a ranking of 1 through 10, she probably comprises 9 of the 10 things that you want in a top producing salesperson. Nobody ever has 10 out of 10. If they are, they're lying, and it ends up being a problem later on. Your good people usually have 8 to 9 out of 10 of those things. The big thing is she's got energy, she's got enthusiasm, she has electricity. I've got emails from her telling me about how focused she is about the business, how excited she is about the business, how career-oriented she is about the business. She's just driven. And I could go on all day about that, but the bottom line is this. Rick did as the guy recommended and got her to 5-day basic, got her to do a basic training within 30 days of employing her, and she walked out within the following week and sold a $1,200 program. And for grand opening this week, where they officially grand open, paid for herself, if you don't even count the $1,200 sale, paid for herself the first day, not only all of her payroll, but all of her travel, all of her expenses, and all of the time that she spent here at training. So if you are looking to really put a fire under your fire in your center's belly and drive sales in 2010, make sure you get people to a 5-day basic training. I'll be training all the 5-day basic trainings between now and at least July. So it is a hardcore, in-your-face, no holds barred sales training, customer service training, how to save lives and make money kind of training. So I look forward to seeing as many of your staff as possible. That's your roundup for today. I'll keep you updated on the National Telethon as the morning progresses and the early afternoon progresses. Have a great day, everybody, and try to stay warm. And by the way, the fastest way or the easiest way to stay warm is to get on the phone and make cold calls so your fingers stay nimble. Have a great day.